Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Rachel Williams begins now.
Good evening, everyone. 2 people remain in custody tonight in connection with the alleged murder of a Gagebrook man last week. Special Operations Police descended on Fingal late yesterday, pouncing on a block of units as frightened neighbours watched on. Our reporter Sean McComish has more.
Heavily armed Special Operations Police, detectives and air support all swarmed on these units in Fingal last night in connection to the alleged murder of a 22-year-old Gagebrook man. From the sky, police zero in on their target. A man and a woman were arrested at this home. The pair are now in custody without charge. A car was also seized from the property for forensic examination.
Yeah, we had a large police contingent that went to Fingal in relation to the ongoing murder investigation that happened in Hobart, and 2 people were arrested and they're currently helping police with inquiries.
Last Sunday, the body of a 22-year-old man was found with a gunshot wound by the side of the road in Richmond. On Thursday, a 14-year-old female was charged with being an accessory. Police are still appealing for anyone with information over the alleged murder to come forward. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
A teenager is dead and another man is in hospital after a horror crash at Birralee early this morning. Police say the driver of a Mitsubishi Triton lost control on Frankfurt Road before colliding with a power pole. The 27-year-old was taken to the Launceston General Hospital while his 18-year-old passenger died at the scene.
We want everyone to have a safe and happy Easter, but obviously, we've got families now that are going to have a tragic Easter this year.
Police believe alcohol may have been a factor. The inside of an Acton Park home has been destroyed after a fire tore through the property this afternoon. Fire crews received multiple calls from neighbours at around 1 p.m, arriving to find the roof engulfed in flames. The blaze started at the back of the house and is believed to have been sparked by a faulty second-hand fridge. The Tasmanian Fire Service says the incident serves as a timely reminder.
Make sure what you're buying. Make sure that it is in a good working operational condition, and that's about all I could possibly have done.
No one was home at the time and an investigation is ongoing. Rescue authorities have managed to save 9 people following 2 separate boating incidents in Great Oyster Bay near Swansea. 5 men were rescued from the water by police and members of the Freycinet Volunteer Coast Guard at 4 p.m. yesterday after their vessel capsized 1 kilometre east of Swansea. At around the same time, 2 men and 2 women were forced to make their way to shore after a wave caused their Caribbean cuddy cabin to start sinking. All parties were wearing life jackets and no one was injured. Community groups have revelled in the spirit of Easter today as the long weekend celebrations continued across the state. Family and friends gathering for some traditional holiday fun while reflecting on the true meaning of Easter.
Searching through the bushes for hundreds of hidden chocolate treasures, some harder to find than others.
It's a community Easter egg hunt. We have lots of chocolates donated by people from the church and some games, story, some crafts and getting together with people.
The 4th annual St James Anglican Church Hunt has become a family tradition and the kids aren't complaining.
I share Easter eggs with them and my friends share Easter eggs with me.
I've collected heaps, 1,000, but the little plastic ones came with lollies inside them.
The get-together also encouraging the community to reflect on the spiritual meaning of the holiday.
And invites us to be reconciled to ourselves and to God, to our neighbours and to the earth. And so in that is a lot of life. And this is what we see life as about. It's about being together in community and loving one another.
Launceston's Royal Park was also filled with Easter cheer, some community members enjoying a sausage sizzle in the sun, as others opted to get creative on canvases and faces. It's the 6th time the Alive Easter Festival has been held. Ruby Kamane, 7 Tasmania News.
To the TSL, and Lauderdale remain undefeated after taking out today's Eastern Shore grudge match against Clarence at Blunston Arena. The Roos came out firing to provide the Bombers with some nervous moments, but in the end the visitors' class and experience made the difference.
Keen to atone for last weekend's 62-point drubbing at the hands of Glenorchy, the Roos set about doing just that, with Jared Harper spot on in front of the sticks, Oliver Preshaw snapping one onto the boot to extend the home side's lead before Lauderdale upped the pressure, with Alex Saunders then converting it onto the scoreboard to keep things interesting. Tyler Penwright showing why he's one of the competition's rising stars, keeping a cool head in heavy traffic to extend the buffer before putting on the burners and producing another just before quarter time. It was Lauderdale who had the last laugh before the first break, however, with Ben McGuinness cementing his spot back in the Bombers' best 22. Visitors rallying when things resumed, with Sam Burgess' shot looking ugly off the boot, but producing the right result to narrow the gap to a single point. Some extra treatment to Robbie McManus from Jason Bailey, allowing Lauderdale to snatch the lead from directly in front. And from there, the visitors never really looked in doubt, with the Bombers claiming bragging rights against their Eastern Shore rivals, with a 15-point win to remain undefeated after 4 rounds of footy.
The Southern Huskies' hopes of back-to-back wins in New Zealand in the New Zealand NBL came crashing down overnight, with the side dominated on the court by the Wellington Saints. Meantime, Devonport and Olympia are through to the next round of the Lacquer Seljack Cup, following hard-fought wins over Kingborough and Glenorchy.
Hoping to back up a thrilling 1-point win in their first ever match in the competition, it didn't quite go to plan against last year's runners-up. Things really began to unravel in the second period, with the visitors looking out of sorts as Wellington fired up in front of the home crowd to give themselves a 17-point buffer come half-time. The Huskies' big men continued to crack under pressure, struggling inside the paint as the Saints ran away with the match, cementing themselves as one of the sides to beat this season with a dominant 27-point win. American import Trey Nichols the best for the visitors with 18 points. In the Lacquer Seljack Cup overnight, Olympia got the better of Glenorchy for the 3rd year running, with the Warriors earning their spot in the final 8 courtesy of Nick Mearns, who produced the one and only goal for the match. It took Devonport until the second half of play to strike against Kingborough, with Eddie Bidwell coming straight off the bench to provide the spark. But the home side wouldn't surrender without a fight, as Keenan Dowse produced something special to square things up. Looking like it may end on a stalemate, the visitors had one last trick up their sleeves, joining the Warriors in the final 8 with a 2-1 win.
Good evening. 23 the state's warmest today in Hobart, Launceston 22, 21 in Devonport and Burnie reaching 19. Other centres today, Grove and Flinders Island reaching 23, 20 in Ouse and Smithton, 19 the top for Lowhead and Strawn reaching 25. On the close-up, low-level cloud across the north and northeast of the state, clear skies elsewhere. On the satellite, a cold front is moving towards Tasmania across the bight with a low over the southern ocean. Cloud can be seen over Queensland and the north of the Western Australia. Tomorrow, the western cold front has moved onto the west coast of Tasmania with a low developing. The high over Western Australia has also extended its ridge into South Australia. North to northeasterly winds 15 to 25 knots tomorrow, reaching 30 knots about the southeast and northwest in the morning. Swells around 2 metres, building to 4 metres in the west and south and around 1 metre in the north. A strong wind warning is current for coastal waters from Sandy Cape to Stanley and for southeastern waters from Tasman Island to southeast Cape. Tomorrow's forecast now, Hobart and Richmond, a possible late shower at 26 and 25 for Ouse. In the north, a late shower or 2 for Launceston, Deloraine and Devonport, showers later on. Burnie tomorrow reaching 20, Strawn late showers and Curry 21. A shower or 2 for St Helens, 25 in Swansea and Whitemark 24. Looking to the 3-day forecast now, Monday, showers easing about the west and northeast with northwest to southwesterly winds in the east. Tuesday, morning showers about the northeast and developing in the west in the afternoon, fine elsewhere. And finally, Wednesday, showers about the west and far south, extending north into the afternoon, fine elsewhere. Capital cities, Perth and Darwin tomorrow, sunny 26 and Melbourne, a shower or 2 for Adelaide, Canberra 25 and Sydney reaching 26. On to current temperatures, Hobart 17 and clear, Launceston 18, mostly cloudy, and for Devonport 17, cloudy. That is all for weather tonight. Back to you, Rach.
Thanks for that, Jackie. Well, that's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Have a great evening. Hope the Easter Bunny comes. Good night.